Oh no, it's Tuesday, June 23rd, and I'm very sad. The Nationals game just ended today, and it was a heartbreaker. Rip your heart out. I don't even know what to say. Um, Good evening, everyone. This is tough. The nice thing is the Nationals are good enough to where I care about a game this much. They beat the Phillies yesterday. This feels like a huge series. The park is packed. It's a little bit of both fans, but whatever. It's packed. Um, Won the first game, like I said. Had this game. I'll run you through the ending. They're up the whole game. They're up 4 runs for most of the game. Phillies bring it a little bit closer to 2. They're up the whole game. They get the bases loaded in the top of the 8th. Down 2 at that point. Real Muto hits a line drive to right field. James Wood makes an amazing diving catch, but the ball pops out of his glove at the last second. It was in his glove. As he was sliding, it pops out. 3-run score. Philly goes up by 1. Damn. Heartbreak. In the top of the 8th. Do you think that's it? No. Bottom of the 8th. Walk. Hit by pitch for the Nationals. Homer. Jorbit Vivas. Second homer of the season. Huge homer. To go up 2 again. I feel like this is game of the year. I'm clapping in my... I'm so hyped. And then we bring in Brad Lord, who's been an awesome reliever. And it just wasn't his night. He gets 2 outs. Maybe it is his night. With 2 outs, down 2, Philly scores 7 runs. They won by 5 in 9 innings when they were down 2, down to their last out with no one on base. Tough. So tough. Yeah, I'm not going to get over that one. I mean, if they can, I don't know. I was going to do Nationals talk for a second and say, if they can win the series, whatever. It's evened up now. I'm just heartbroken. I'm not even here to talk about the National Series. I'm just here to talk about the game that broke my heart. Yeah, so that's what we're just coming off of. But I want to do a quick divisions check-in and kind of talk about what I think the end of season could look like for each division. And that'll be just a quick run through, because what I really want to talk about on today's show is I kind of want to get people excited for the draft. And I think a fun way to do that for this week, I have 2 fun ideas for this. For this week, what we're looking at is I looked at the last 3 drafts, not the most recent one, but if you go to the 3 before those, so 2022 to 2024, I looked at those drafts and I built the best team you can possibly build. Position by position. I guess I took liberty. I didn't really take too many liberties on the position. Like, I tried to stay pretty true. I gave you a couple bench guys. I didn't do relievers because those are kind of weird. But we'll get into that later. But it's a fun way to look at, hey, of the last 4 drafts, and the reason I didn't do 25 is because not a single player has debuted from 25, but there have been awesome players to come from that draft that look awesome in minor league baseball. Eli Willits, the 1-1 for the Nats, being one of them. But I wanted to go back another year so we could get into the years where there are players in the MLB and you guys can see, oh, hey, the MLB draft matters. Like, these guys are getting called up faster than ever, as we've talked about before. And so we'll talk about that team, end of the show. But that's very exciting stuff. The other fun idea I had, and I feel like this would almost be better with another person, so I don't know how I'd do that. Eventually a co-host would be awesome. Friend spots would be awesome, but I don't know if I could do it for this one. I want to do a draft or just like a players 25 and under type of thing. I think it'd be fun to draft against someone for that. We'll figure that out. If anything, that'll be next week. But as I talked about, let's go to the division run-throughs and what I think they could look like down the stretch. Starting off with my NL East. looks like it's the Braves, right? And the Braves have been playing such good ball. They've been getting such good production out of all their dudes. And even when guys are hurt, guys step up. If Austin Riley goes, that makes him even scarier. He's the one guy who hasn't really kicked in. I guess in a situation where they were to crumble, and they're pretty injured, so it's a realistic possibility. It should be the Phillies. I mean, the Mets are so far out of it at this point. I don't think it could be them based on talent. It would be the Phillies or the Mets. But the thing I'd look for, and this is a caveat of if the Braves were to crumble, could the Nats or Marlins get involved? Because they're right next to each other and they're right below the Phillies in the standings. I don't think so. I think talent wins out here, and I think, if anything, the Phillies push up to the Braves. But this feels like it just runs with the Braves. I'd love to see Braves-Phillies sprinting down the stretch. That'd be awesome. But they have a big enough lead to where we can't guess that yet. The next one, the NL Central. The Brewers, it feels like it's just them. The whole division has gotten better. Like the Reds are kind of bringing up the rear right now, but even then they have a lot of talent. The Cardinals are a surprise, but they look really good. The Pirates, I don't know. But as a whole, this division looks a lot better, but they're still being outclassed by the Brewers. I think, if anything, the Cubs have the talent to chase them down, but they're so hurt, and they haven't been playing their best ball. Feels like it's just the Brewers. NL West, same story. It's the Dodgers, and you knew that. I'm going to do a power ranking soon where I'll have a rant about power rankings because I think people do them wrong, but the Dodgers are the best team in baseball. And spoiler alert, they're going to be number one on my power rankings. Moving on to the AL East because the West is boring. I think it's the Yankees to lose. Again, I've raved about their pitching all year. Schlittler has looked amazing. The Rays keep hanging in there. They keep not proving me wrong. It's not that I don't believe in the Rays. I just think the Yankees are that much more talented, so they should stay above the Rays. The interesting thing to see, if there were to be not necessarily a collapse, but maybe a slow month for the Yankees, could the Blue Jays or the Orioles jump up? Because they're sticking around. They're kind of right in that zone where like Philly is behind Atlanta, to where it should be the Yankees, but they could take advantage if New York had a slow month or something like that. The AL Central. Let's lock in for these last two, because these last two, as of right now, look like they're going to be the two fun ones. The AL Central, all 5 teams are clustered within 8 games of each other, which no other division has. And the coolest part about it, the 2 teams in 4th and 5th place in that division were the 2 preseason favorites for that division. So you have the most talented teams at the bottom chasing the White Sox. The Guardians always do it, but they're not the most talented. And Jose Ramirez is out for a little bit. So this one really could be a fun race. The Tigers, they're talented enough. The Royals really feel out of it, which is a shame because they were my pick. But if I were to rule one team like dead, I'd probably say the Royals. Go White Sox is my thing. The White Sox are so fun. They just won a tight 2-1 game against the Guardians, which is huge. Yeah, I'm rooting for the White Sox, but this division feels like it's going to be the one that comes down to the wire. I don't know. It's just so fun that all 5 teams are involved here, because the AL West is a similar story and is an even tighter bunch. It's just the Angels are bringing up the rear, and it's a shame because this division is awesome. The 4 teams in front of the Angels are within 3 games of each other. That's insane. The thing that makes the Central so cool is that legit, you could tell me any of the 5 teams wins it, I'd believe you. The West, obviously, you tell me the Angels, you're on something. But the 4 teams being within 3 games, I still have supreme confidence in Seattle. I don't know, man. I've seen enough this year to say that it's been a slow start, and they're going to be fine. They're the talent on the field. They're getting Cal Raleigh back. I don't see them not winning this division. I think if anyone pushes them out of it, it'd be Texas. But even then, I still don't fully believe in Texas. I've tried to believe in them too many times, and they never packed the punch. Other than that one time they won the World Series. But more recent years, it just hasn't gone their way. I think Seattle's too talented. They already have too many pitchers. Like, they're doing a weird piggyback system, which I don't love, but it's a first world problem. They have 6 good starting pitchers, and they have Cade Anderson on the way, so they're going to have 7 good starting pitchers. That much pitching, being that deep, the lineup is awesome. I can't see anyone but Seattle. I just can't. Yeah, there's our little division rundowns right there. Now what I want to get into is this draft thing, because this was fun. Going back and trying to find some gems. You'll see there's a lot of 24 drafts, because that 24 draft was awesome, as we've talked about in the past. There's a lot of 1s, 2s. You know, I got another 1st, I got a 4th, I got a 9th, I got a 7th, I got a 6th. There's a lot of lottery picks. There's a lot of high picks. Scouts are good. They're pretty good at their jobs. Another caveat to this is there's a lot of high school guys that got taken in these drafts that just didn't have a chance to get to the MLB at this point. Like, anybody taken in the 2024 draft out of high school, unless you're a freak like Connor Griffin, you're not going to make the major leagues. It's just not going to happen. So this is not all the talent that these 3 drafts have to offer. It's just the MLB talent right now that these 3 drafts have to offer. But yeah, with that being said, there are also some gems in here. I mean, I'll point them out, and I'm going to dive into just kind of where you can find gems, what the profile of gems are, that type of thing, of like, what are we looking for the next, spoiler alert, Jacob Mizorowski, the next Kevin McGonigal, right? So let's get into it. The starting pitching is so fun. We're going to start with the Miz. He got taken in 22, so this is the oldest draft we're going to talk about today. He got taken out of a junior college. He did go to the draft combine, which is something that's happening today for 2026. It's a really cool event where guys get to get data on all their stuff, the speed, the exit velos, all that type of stuff. For teams, that stuff's awesome, but they also get to interview the kids. They get to do medicals on the kids. So it's a very good process for the draft. And you unturn some gems like Jacob Mizorowski. He got taken in the 22 draft, 63rd overall. 63rd. And he is, I can't stop fighting it, or I gotta stop fighting it. He's the best pitcher in baseball. He looks so good. And he was taken 63rd. Insane. Number 2, let's go to the other side of the coin. Paul Skeens. 2023, first overall. You knew he was supposed to be first overall. There's a reason he was. We'll talk about the number 2 pick later, which might be controversial being on this list, but outfield is weak here. Hear me out. Yeah, Skeens, Mizorowski at the top. 2 of the best pitchers in the world. Awesome. Who's next? Chase Burns. 2024, second overall. This is another one of those guys that at the time, he went a little bit higher than you thought. He was kind of in that top 5 conversation. So him being just like snagged at 2 was kind of like, whoa. Especially with the talent in the 24 draft, as we'll see. But I'm sure the Reds aren't upset at their decision. He looks awesome this year. His slider is one of the best pitches in baseball. Maybe the best. And yeah, so the top 3 of this rotation is disgusting. This is where I'd say it has a little bit of a fall off, but even then, if you watch the playoffs last year, you might not think that, because the fourth guy is Trey Savage, postseason hero for the Blue Jays. He was also in the 24 draft, and he got taken 20th overall. He was a guy that was in the 10 to 20 conversation, so he kind of fell farther than we thought he would. And I think, I don't know. I would love to talk to teams and hear, is there any conversation about his arm angle not being able to be replicated by the traject machine? I've talked about this before. The traject machine is a pitching machine that replicates pitchers. Their release point, arm slot, the spin on the breaking ball, the fastball, everything. It makes it look like you're facing them. So when you get a guy that throws straight over the top and the machine can't replicate it, it is so hard to prepare for him. I wonder if in 2024 that was a thought going through anyone's head, because now it is. I promise you that. After what Trey Savage did, it's a thought. But I'd love to know, were the Blue Jays looking at that? Did they identify that? We may never know. But he got taken 20th, and he almost brought them to a World Series, which would have been worth it immediately, and probably already is. The fifth guy in our rotation isn't having the best year, but the stuff is undeniable. The stuff is so undeniable. He got recruited to play for Team USA in the World Baseball Classic as a rookie. And another guy that I wanted to highlight of just a great find. The Mets took Nolan McLean in the 2023 draft, 91st overall. That's awesome value. He has some of the best stuff. He was also a quarterback, which is pretty sick. But yeah, just the best spin efficiency on his breaking balls. Throws the fastball up at 97. Has the sinker to go off of it. Again, not having the best year, but I have ultimate confidence in what he can be moving forward. So he takes the fifth spot in the rotation. Now let's go to the lineup. Disclaimer, the lineup is littered with 20 early 2024 picks because that draft was nutty. We started off, and I'm going to preface this by saying the outfield feels a little weak compared to the other positions, but it's still pretty damn good. Catcher is another one where I found one guy who I'm excited about, but has been hurt to start this year and hasn't shown you too much at the MLB level. Another guy that played in the WBC, which is pretty cool, where he got hurt. Not cool. It's Kyle Teal of the White Sox. Drafted by the Red Sox, but now of the White Sox. He's looked good in the time he's played in the MLB. We just haven't seen enough from him yet to say, hey, this is a dude. But he's the best catcher I could find. Catchers are tough, man, and they take a while to develop because high school catchers are not, historically have not done great, and you have to teach them all the defensive stuff. And so then their hitting falls behind. It's a tough prospect. College catchers, they might be a little bit more advanced defensively, but even then, their hitting, if they are advanced defensively, their hitting has fallen by the wayside possibly. It's tough. Kyle Teal was the best option here. Again, I'm not mad at it. I think he's fun for this team, but he was in the 23 draft, and he got taken 14th overall, again, by the Red Sox. First base, best player on this list. Maybe outside Skeens, Mizorowski. Maybe not. Maybe he's just the best player on this list. It's Nick Kurtz, another 24 draftee. He was such a shoo-in. I didn't even write his name down, so I can't promise you I'm right on this pick. I'm pretty sure he was the 6th overall pick. To the A's, out of Wake Forest, just crushes the baseball. Have you guys watched Nick Kurtz? Do I need to explain any longer? So awesome. Second base. Let's go to J.J. Weatherholt. Same draft. If I'm right about Kurtz being the 6th pick, next pick. 24 draft, 7th overall, out of West Virginia. He played shortstop at West Virginia. It was kind of a question if Mason Wynn were to go down and they had a second baseman for the Cardinals that they liked, I'm sure he could slide over and give you passable shortstop. It's not going to be great, but he plays a good second base. And I had to move a really fun second baseman to the bench from the same draft. If you know who that is, shout it out. Because J.J. Weatherholt is awesome. Third base, this is maybe the one liberty I took here, but he can play third, so I'm not going to call it too much of a liberty. It's my Rookie of the Year pick. It's Kevin McGonigal. He got taken in the 2023 draft out of high school. Let me save this conversation for the next guy because he ties into that. But 37th overall. You know what? Let's do a shortstop. Connor Griffin, the 24, he got taken less than 2 years ago as a high schooler, 9th overall. This is the point I want to make about these two players. Kevin McGonigal in 23, 37th overall as an overslot guy. And then Connor Griffin, 9th overall in 24. The high school players, the high school position players, let me correct myself, when they are truly freaky, generational, awesome players, they separate themselves fast, like very fast. You saw it with McGonigal, and he got up quick. And being the 37th overall pick, it's huge to separate yourself that fast. Connor Griffin, being in the MLB less than 2 years after he got drafted as a high schooler, is freaky stuff. This does not happen. There's a reason I left out the 25 draft. Guys who got drafted out of college aren't here from the 25 draft. He got taken the year before out of high school, and he's here. And he's doing it in the show. Wild. I mean, he is truly like generational. The Pirates, I mean, I know they've had tough times, but you get to watch Skeens and Griffin go at it for that. It's ridiculous. Lucky you. Another point I'll make on that, and I already mentioned him, I believe, on the show. I think Eli Willits is kind of doing what those two guys have done. He got taken out of high school as a 17-year-old. He's 18 for this whole season, and he's kind of just separating himself from the pack from last year's draft. I mean, he looks so awesome. I'm going to toot the Eli Willits horn any chance I get. Going to the outfield, that is a skosh weaker. We'll start with Chase DeLauder, who got taken in 2022 out of college, and he debuted in the playoffs last year. You're going, okay, college, oldest draft we're talking about back in 22. What happened? Why did it take so long to debut? He's always been awesome. He's been awesome. He was awesome in college. He's been awesome in the minor leagues. As soon as he got to the MLB, he's been awesome. He's been injured a lot. He got taken with the 16th overall pick. The reason he fell is because he had injury questions in college. But when he's on the field, he's awesome. So stick him in a corner outfield. Sign me up. Center field, we're going to move a guy. He's played some center. I don't know if he's playing center right now, but he can play some center. Also, my right fielder can play center, so switch him if you want. I'm going to go Wyatt Langford in center. Part of that awesome 23 top of the draft that isn't as awesome anymore. That seemed so cool at the time. He got taken 4th overall behind Max Clark, Dylan Cruz, and Paul Skeens. He's just so toolsy. I mean, everything. The power is crazy. If you remember that College World Series, he hit some bombs, and he's done it in Texas now. But the speed is crazy. The arm's great. The defense is pretty good. He's great. We're waiting to see him put it all together, but just the tools alone he can live off of. The right fielder is getting going. I was going to say such a shame, but I don't think it is. It's Dylan Cruz. It's the Nats. I mean, he plays all over the place in the outfield, but played left field today. He was taken 2nd overall behind Skeens. Going into that draft season, before that college season happened, Dylan Cruz was seen as the 1-1, kind of like Rock Chalowski this year. And then Skeens had the year he had, and it was like, whoa, there's 2 first overall freak-worthy picks. And as a Nationals fan, I was like, oh, sweet. because we just got screwed out of the first pick. We should have had it. The lottery gave us the second pick. I wanted Skeens, but being in the 2 spot there, it's like, okay, you can't blame yourself for whoever you pick, which is kind of nice. Cruz got off to a rocky start. Last year was not pretty. Got sent down to start this year. The last couple weeks, he's been hitting rockets. He looks a lot better. It's a different profile than what we saw in college. He's trying to pull the ball a lot more because the power doesn't play oppo as easily as it did with metal bats in college stadiums against college pitchers. The nice thing about Cruz is no matter what he gives you at the plate, the base running, the speed, elite. The defense, the arm, elite. So anything you get with the bat is a bonus, and he's hitting the ball really hard right now. So very encouraging signs from Cruz. That's why I put him on this list, is because of the last month or so. He's looked really good. And again, like I said, outfield's a little bit weaker. Another guy I guess you could have stuck in this outfield is my DH, Jack Caglione. Stop me if you've heard this before. He was a top 10 pick in 2024. He went 6th overall. Wait. Correction. I said I thought Kurtz was the 6th overall pick. He was not. He was, we're going to call it 5th. Don't quote me on that. Jack Caglione, he's going to be frustrating at times. There's swing and miss. There's chase. But he's going to crush the ball. I mean, he's going to hit the ball so hard. And it's shown up recently. He put a ball, I think he tore the roof on the Trop again. I think that's what happened. No, he put it over the scoreboard in the Trop, a place I didn't even know you could hit baseballs. So he's my DH. Going to my bench, as I was perusing these drafts, there were guys, whether it was their position or just they're not better than the player above them because the player above them is a freak. I needed to throw these guys on the list and talk about them. The first guy maybe could have been your DH, maybe could have been your third baseman. It's Sal Stewart of the Reds. He got taken in 32nd overall. He just rakes, flat out rakes. I mean, he's not going to give you much more than that. If you stick him out at first or third, he'll give you maybe passable defense, but line to line I don't take this comp lightly, and this isn't even fully a comp because he's not as big. I don't think he's as tall as him, but reminds me so much of Miguel Cabrera, the way he can just drive the ball line to line and hit anything where it's pitched. He's awesome to watch. Another guy taken pretty late, 32nd overall. How's your second round pick? A guy that I really wanted to put in the starting lineup, but Connor Griffin is like literally generational, the next A-Rod, whatever you want to call him. Colt Emerson. I've loved Colt Emerson for a while now. He's finally gotten called up. He got his extension before he got called up, but he got taken 22nd overall in 2023. He's awesome. I mean, his swing is awesome. He plays great defense at short. He's not the fastest, but he's about as close to the complete package as you can get. A guy who gets pushed off this list because the guy in front of him is a little bit better. Again, Travis Bazzana. I mean, he's looked great. You could argue of late he's looked better than Weatherholt, but I have a little bit more faith in Weatherholt's bat, I guess. But this is such a close race here. Same draft, 24, first overall. There was a time where I said maybe the Guardians would regret it because of how awesome everyone under him looked and what he's been doing lately. I don't think they regret it. I think everyone that had a high pick in 24 is just having a great time with their picks. And then the last spot on the bench, had to give him some respect because he's already been an all-star. Jacob Wilson of the A's, taken out of GCU in 2023, 6th overall pick. He's awesome. If you don't know what he's about, I mean, he's kind of the righty Luis Ariz. He's going to make a ton of contact. He's going to work a pitch count. He's not going to strike out, and he's not going to give you that much pop. Luis Ariz has been playing good defense at second this year, The difference between the two is Jacob Wilson is going to give you pretty good defense at short. It's nothing special. The speed isn't special. He's not the toolsiest guy, but such a fundamental player and just so good at controlling the zone and fouling off pitches and not striking out. That's the team I got for you. I had fun putting this team together. I think the trends that are fun to look at is obviously if you hit on a high pick, they're awesome, right? Your Skeens at 1, your Bazana at 1, your Cruz at 2, your Burns at 2. I like the toolsy players that you take in the top. If you hit on them, they're going to be great. What a surprise. The thing that's interesting to me, like we talked about with the high schoolers, separating themselves early, I'd like to do a case study on, are there any like later breakout high school guys? I'm sure there are, but the truly special ones seem to like let you know right away. So that's something to keep an eye out for when we're prospect watching. Who are the guys that were taken in last year's draft out of high school that just jump onto the scene? Because those could be the next Kevin McGonigal, Connor Griffin, Rookie of the Year favorite studs, right? It looks like pitching freaks are easier to be found later based off this list, right? You have Mizorowski going 63rd, Nolan McLean going 91st. If you can find traits like Mizorowski's extension and his elite fastball, McLean's ability to spin the ball, if you can find those traits, get them into your pitching lab and really exploit those to the fullest of their abilities, I think that's where the value is to be had, right, with later pitchers. And then you see a little bit of the overslot high schooler playing, right? Like McGonigal taken at 37th is one where the team took an underslot deal in the first round, paid their first round pick a little less than they should have, and they paid up to get the high schooler they wanted at 37. Sal Stewart at 32, same thing. There's a couple more cases in here, but that pays off sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. So it's tough to see a trend here. The real trend is the best players usually get taken in the first round. Like I said earlier, scouts are pretty damn good at their job. That's the exercise. If you're not excited about the draft, that was a way to show you the last 3 drafts have mattered a lot. Whether you're picking at, like I said, 1, 2, 7, 14, 37, 9, 16. They're littered all over the place. Anybody you take in next month's draft could be your next star. So watch the draft. Look into the draft a little bit. Listen to this show to get you primed for the draft. I want to wrap up with a little movie talk. I haven't watched anything new. Actually, that's a lie. I watched Dunkirk on Sunday. Fun movie. Beautifully shot. Not my favorite Nolan. It's the story is what it is, so it can't be too fast paced. Whatever. Good movie. Not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about is a movie that I don't even have on the schedule yet. Toy Story 5 is coming out. I just have a quick rant because the Toy Story movies are fantastically made. Such good movies. There's a reason they're so critically acclaimed. There's a reason they keep making them. There's an argument out there, and I get it. I get it a little bit, and then I think you're dumb. People say they should have stopped at 3. Fair. It's a perfect trilogy. I understand that. My problem is people then move the hate onto 4 and say 4 is a bad movie. Nay. Wrong. Incorrecto. Whatever you want to say. Great movie. Maybe shouldn't have been made. 2 totally different things, okay? So, don't hate on 5 because it comes after 3. That's all I'm saying. I'm hearing good things about 5. I'm excited. I'm a fan of the Toy Story series. But yeah, that's my argument. Toy Story 3, perfect movie. Elite movie. But you don't have to hate on 4 just because you loved what 3 did, all right? That's That's my Toy Story rant, I guess. Uh, we'll be back later this week. I'm thinking Thursday. No promises. We'll see. Should be Thursday, though. So look out for that. Yeah. Everyone have a good middle of your week, I guess. Have a nice Tuesday, Wednesday before I see you again on Thursday. What a weird way to phrase that. All right. Good night, everybody.